Let's see if it works. Yes. How are you doing, everybody? Let me just double check that things here are not bothering me, because I can hear myself, obviously. How about that? There we go. Is it better now? Yes, it is. So, I don't even know where to start. We are going to just...
Alberto Rizzo Schettino says, check out Alberto's music on Bandcamp, http://www.albertorizzoschettino.com/buying it is also a great way to support this channel.
I see what's going on.
http://www.albertorizzoschettino.com/buying it is also a great way to support this channel.
Awesome, right? Right. Why is this reading chat for me? Hey, Dark Death. Drak Death. Hello. So we got... Wait, what? Why am I getting destroyed by text-to-speech? Why? Oh, I know.
Drak Death says, Ethan at 3N says, hello at Drak Death. Welcome to the channel.
No. We're gonna get destroyed in 2 seconds. What is going on here? What have I done? Message received. Is this thing here? That's text-to-speech thing? I want to trash this thing. I think I've done it. Okay. No, I don't want to delete it. I just want to get it here. All right. Folks, you got to try that. Oh, gosh. This was something. We got spammed by my own bot text-to-speech. Okay, it didn't leave. I'm getting subliminal messages. Must buy, must buy. Absolutely. So, it's fascinating that things seem to be working. I just didn't... All right, so what went on here is that I am a total noob when it comes to just, bots in general. But I have made good friends in the Amiga retro gaming community, and they told me, Alberto, you should really mix it up, because it's a great bot and it works and stuff. And it's a little bit deep, they said, but they're geeks and super nerdy. So for them, it was kind of doable. But when I opened it, I was like, all right, this is a little bit too much. And then it was super fun to set up and work with. And apparently I've set up text-to-speech, not a recursive thing, but it was just writing its own things, right? So I have made it, what I wanted to have is some sort of notification, when you write a message in chat, I would like to get like a very tiny, sort of sound effect that will tell me, somebody has written something. And I will check the chat, obviously, from time to time, but it's good to know. But then I think I got carried away with the text-to-speech. And so it's reading. So what you see here, Ethan is the bot for YouTube, and Agent Taylor is the bot I have on Twitch. And I've made them from, names of famous video games, characters, fictional characters, of course. And if you, I don't know, it's a nice trivia. You might find, you might want to find out where Ethan, ET3EN, ETH3N, sorry, comes from, and where Agent Taylor comes from. They're both, again, fictional characters. One is kind of a new character of a video game, and the other one, it's fairly old. I think it dates back to 1993. It's a favorite video game of mine. One of the songs of which, of the soundtrack, I've made a remake of in Future in the Past with Russell Shaw, which is the composer. So, I gave it away. Now it's easy. Anyway, we're here just settling down. We're going to talk about Bitwig Studio 5.2. I am super excited about these. I will sound like the most average YouTuber, influencer, Twitch gamer, whatever. I am super excited, people. This DAW is insanely cool. There is not yet one thing. Maybe we'll find it live on stream. There is not yet one thing I don't love. I'm gonna say it again. I haven't found things I hate. I haven't found things that are deal breakers. I haven't found things. I think in the scale, the deal breakers should be first. Like if there's a deal breaker, I cannot use the DAW. Then there's things I hate. Then there's things I don't like, but I can live with. And then there's things I love. All right. And honestly, okay, this is Ethan. You're kind of a. What's your timer size here? Advanced timers. Ethan, shut up. I mean, why? Okay, can we do it like this? I'm gonna try and make it shut up. It just doesn't work. James hated. Drac, I don't know if you were here, Jolie, if you were here last time. James was like, shut up. I think I had said it at 5 minutes thinking it would give me good publicity and money for my own music. And then Ethan was almost as I am, wouldn't shut up for a second. But today was a fun thing because it kind of was doing that. So I haven't found deal breakers. I haven't found, and I'm probably not gonna find them because I've been working with them for Bitwig for like the past 3 days. I haven't found things I hate. I cannot say I have things I don't like, but I can live with. We'll see. And everything else I absolutely love. Okay, so I'm still thinking I'm in the pre-stream. We're like in a, dressing room kind of thing. But I am trying to make up my mind in terms of workflow of how I want to present this, because I have literally never been so excited for a digital audio workstation since maybe Digital Performer 2.7, which is the first DAW I have used to make my own first demo, okay, which I don't know if you'll ever even find it. You know, the things you're kind of ashamed and proud at the same time. You're proud because you look at you're 17 years old and 18 then when I finished it, and then it got into mixing, and then you're also super ashamed of it because you wish nobody would listen to it. Anyway, Jolie, you remember Digital Performer 2.5? It was good, right? My teacher at the time, my piano teacher at the time, was using Logic. And Logic was at 2.7 again, I think. I don't remember. 3.4? No, hold on. 4.7, I think. Something like that. So I might be making up the Digital Performer number. Maybe it was 3.7. I'm thinking 2.7. I'm fairly sure. But Logic was at 3.7. This is 98. So we can double check. 1998 into 99. I'm thinking Digital Performer 2.7 or 2.6, and then I updated. Man, that was a fantastic digital audio workstation to work with. And I've done my entire first demo album by myself. Then because I had left my band and I started working with just my own self. I wanted to make some kind of music that I love to, just a record of mine. And that's how it started. And I had been playing for quite a while, I think for about 8 years already, because it started up, I was, I think 9 or 10, and then I started taking lessons when I was maybe 13, 14, probably around that time when I started my own band. And then I've never stopped. I've never stopped taking lessons. I stopped in 2007. I did stop. I started some courses. I went here and there, but like regular lessons, be it private or in school. How much is it? 2006 was the last year. So 2007 to 1993, 4, okay? 1994, 2004, 2014, that would be 20 years. But 14 to 7, it's like, so it's 13 years, only 13 years that I've been studying in schools and stuff. I wonder how I even get to know some scales. I don't know. It sounds like not that much. Anyway, we're dress rehearsing. I need to kind of plan ahead how I want to talk to you about Bitwig, because I will get carried away being overly excited. I want to make it fun, but I still want to show you why there are things that I love. So I think I should start. We should sort of make like an official entrance of sorts. I'm thinking. All right. So yes, I think I have it. So you here? Oh wow, 5. Wow, why did the things spike up? I'm ready. All right, Drac, ready. Thank you very much for being here. I don't remember you from streams. So if you're joining and maybe you're a Bitwig user, I've been using Bitwig for 3 days. So not 13 years. And I'm fairly new, but we'll start. So hello everyone. This is a live stream, but you from the future might probably see these. And I am from the past, obviously, because that's how it works. Or maybe not, but today we're going to talk about Bitwig Studio. I have a 5.0.2 or 5.2, I don't know, 5.2 beta 2, all right? Full disclosure, as of today, I'm a Bitwig artist. So, you know, they're endorsing me. I would like to spend 2 seconds to just praise the amazing Lucy Vogel, which is at Super Booth tomorrow and the next day. So you should head to Super Booth 24 in Berlin. It's at Fitz Park, very close to where Fuse Room Berlin used to be. And go there. And I think I know where the booth is already, but just find where Bitwig is. Go there, say hi, because you've watched this stream and you found it amazing and you want to know more about Bitwig Studio. She set me up in 2 seconds with the beta as well, with packages and stuff. And I am stoked. I am humbled that they have me in their, roster. And I am extremely, extremely pleased because Bitwig Studio is the DAW we're going to use. It sounds scary to say, I gotta be honest. It's the DAW we're going to use for the creative composing master classes. Okay, so hear me out. I want to be super poignant, to quote some of my horrible French. I still cannot speak French. I think I'm giving up. I never will. Anyway, Bitwig Studio is the DAW we're going to use for the creative workshops and for the a track in 2 hours, all these things that you have been asking me for a good 6 months. Okay, 6 months, easy. I have been trying different DAWs to find the workstation we want to use. Okay, as you know, I've started composing. I give it for granted that you already know. I started composing again in 2019, end of 2019. Okay, before I was doing a lot of keyboard work for bands, artists, but I was mainly running the studio I had in Berlin. Okay, so the place would get renovated. We get a notice that we will get kicked out, and I called some of my old friends and say, well, now I have time to compose, okay, and make music for video games and indie stuff and TV series, underscoring mostly. I haven't done anything important so far, unfortunately, but I'm working on some very important projects and I'm writing a ton of music, mostly sketches. 30 seconds, 1 minute, they get licensed. I write more stuff. They get picked or optioned. That's how it is. I write it in a better fashion. They license it. I get money from the royalties. Off we go. I've been lucky enough to do some stuff for video game companies, automotive companies, so cars, and some sports TV shows. And some TV series. Right. I shouldn't. Why do I forget the stuff I've done? Mostly underscoring, but it was a great thing to work with a lot of people. And I have used Studio One. Okay. So I want to make it very clear that I'm going to talk about briefly names. This is not endorsed by Bitwig in a way that they want me to just say Bitwig all the time. They couldn't care less. I'm going to showcase what I know about this software, but I have used Studio One, fantastic DAW. for 2 years straight, 2019 to 2022. I still have it, I still use it, I still have sessions in there. Awesome. Then I started working with people, and one of the audio leads used to work in Steinberg. He gives us Nuendo licenses because we are exchanging Nuendo licenses. Why? Because they use it, they know it very well, they use it for immersive audio, ambisonics, effects and stuff, and I joined the team and I started using Nuendo. Fantastic DAW, awesome DAW, okay? Awesome DAW, absolutely. However, the composing masterclasses that I wanted to try and use, I heard from you, and I kind of get it, that Nuendo, Cubase, Logic, Digital Performer, Studio One even, wouldn't be appropriate. There was always something that wouldn't work. Okay, so Nuendo is awesome. It works for my whole studio setup, which I will explain in a second while we're going through different things. It can do it. It's sample accurate. It's fantastic. So my studio works in Nuendo. It's awesome. Studio One, I actually had some MIDI timing issues when sessions were becoming extremely heavy. No problem until then. I'm super excited. Can you tell? Overly excited. No problem until a session was kind of heavy, but then it would not be feeling tight as when the session was emptier, sort of. Why is this a problem to me? Because I don't mix after I am done composing. I rarely do that. I do mix as a mix engineer, other people's stuff, been doing it less in the last 4 years and things, less and less. I used to work more for third-party clients and you know, labels and things. But when I compose, I do one single phase. I might want to add a synth line. I might want to go back. And this is super important for Bitwig because that's where you bend a digital audio workstation. I want to add something. I want to put in audio effects. I want to work with audio hardware. I want a different synthesizer. I want to print a MIDI track and then edit it and do something else. I want virtual instruments. I want contact libraries. I want Reason instruments. I want amazing VST plugins on the mix bus. I do it all at once. When I'm done with the song, I will touch a couple things. It can be automation. It can be a mix bus. Then I move to mastering once I get approval to master it, or when the song I'm making does not get purchased by anybody and I love it so much that I want to make a record out of it, which is the case for Future in the Past and The Outskirts. Those are outsiders of music I've been writing that remain to me, and I loved it so much and I made records. So if you followed my streams, that's the finger here. If you followed my streams, we've used Reason 2-3 weeks ago. Were you there? No. Well, you can watch that stream. We used Reason, whose instruments I absolutely love. Effects, instruments, utilities. Reason is my bread and butter. It's just so good. But the DAW doesn't work for me. It still doesn't have the features I need to make the studio work. So it's out of the question. Last week, we tried Ableton Live 12. Fantastic DAW. I've been using it for so long. I've made entire records arranged for artists that I've been part of. Check out 7:20 a.m. It's a duo project that I have done with a friend and musician colleague, Angelo Manfriani. We've done everything on Ableton Live, and it was version 4 at the time. Lovely. It just sounded fantastic. So much inspiration. And then we recorded vocals on Pro Tools, record done, fantastic. But my studio today is not the same I had when we did that. And also I have tons of instruments, tons of sound effects. And I have to send and receive MIDI clock. Ableton Live failed me, probably that's the proper English, when I was calling upon using MIDI clock. There's plenty of forum posts. I won't bother you with that, but the MIDI clock I'm sending and receiving is not delay compensated. Deal breaker. Live cannot be used. My studio at the moment will not work with live if I want to compose in there. So here comes Bitwig, okay? Bitwig Studio. Actually, James and other people in my Discord, if you're a patron of mine, you're into my Discord. If you're not there, you should check it out because you don't need to type anything in there, but we chat a lot. And James and other patrons of mine said, have you tried Bitwig Studio? Because it's pretty good. It's really the DAW at the moment. And I was like, all right, let's try it out. So I tried, and here we are. Okay? So what you see here is the chat, my DAW, the Amiga, some of the DAWs, and two times Alberto for absolutely no reason. No, maybe because there's the Innovation Base Station, which I absolutely love. Okay? And I hope I haven't changed the patch because I need to print something because I've been just composing something. Cool. So we can shift things around like so. Okay, so we now have the full DAW here. I can even become smaller because you don't really need to see me all the time. What we need to do is we need to talk about this DAW, which is awesome. Again, thank you, Lucy, for hooking me up with everything I've done here. And thank you very much to just be so kind and so quick. I'm super humbled. So we're gonna meet Lucy at Super Booth. Please go there. Tell them I say hi. I'm gonna say hi as well. Whatever. Just swarm their booth because this thing is good. Okay. Joey, is it possible to get the beta 2 if you don't already own Bitwig 5.2? To have a beta version, you have to have a license. As a demo, you can get only 5.1.9, which is amazing. It's okay. But 5.2 is now at beta version 2, and it unlocked, for me, it got unlocked the moment I added my license in the software. You know, the moment I authorized it, I just got a notification. Do you want to try 5.2 beta 2? And there was a sort of a kind, you know, in parentheses, like, we're suggesting you this because you turned on the option to be notified about beta versions. So if you have a license of Bitwig Studio and you're not getting into beta 2, into 5.2, it's because you haven't ticked the notify me about test versions or something like it in the Bitwig whatever. Okay, so it's, if you have a license, proper license or subscription, it will tell you that. Okay, so what is Bitwig Studio? It's a DAW. Why is it the best DAW ever? To me, it wins in 3 days. It wins the best DAW award of this year, at least. Probably was already the best one last year. And I'm gonna make it very clear that you don't have to use Bitwig Studio. But unless you have specific needs in your profession or hobby as a music producer, musician, engineer, whatever, if you are a completely clean slate, you should start off with Bitwig Studio and just don't even look at the other DAWs. Start with this one and you can integrate stuff around. I know it's a heavy thing. I know. I've used tons of Logic, tons of Digital Performance, Cubase, Nuendo, Studio One, Pro Tools. I don't even want to remember how many hours I have clocked into Pro Tools because that was my daily DAW. Everything is fantastic. Wavelab, beautiful. Samplitude, insane, okay? And if you're doing specific other stuff, for example, Pyramix, right? By merging tech, absolutely. But each of these DAWs have specific strong points. If you are not interested in a specific strong point, and I will not even list them, but they all do, Bitwig kills them all. It's just the DAW that will make everything you need to do sample accurate because it's not missing a beat. I gotta tell you that. So you don't want to have something that breaks when things go heavy. And second, it's so fast, so fast, so fast. Just I'm enjoying thinking about my own self 2 days ago. I tried to break this DAW and make it crash. I ended up making a song in it. How many times you sit and try to make a song and nothing happens, or everything is super slow and sluggish and things, And then instead I've been trying to just assess if it was a good DAW. I've ended up with a sketch, and it will become probably a song. Now, I need to make a ton of music in a short amount of time till end of the summer. So I will use these, and I will also stream myself while I do it. That's the plan, okay? I will use Bitwig Studio. But why is it good? What makes it cool? I'm the worst when it comes to demonstrating these from, like from start to end, right? But we will go through some elements, and I'm thinking you'll be persuaded. So the interface, the main windows are two: arrange and mix. You press tab, which is a key I knew from Ableton Live, and we're into either arrange or mix. Simple as that. There's a bottom lane here, a bottom pane, probably is a better word, that will hold everything that the channels have. So if you're used to Ableton Live, you're home. It works, right? All the tracks are there. If you want scenes like Ableton, I do not work with scenes, but if you do, you have them, and you have them also on top here, just like Ableton Live. I cannot say it simpler, just like Ableton Live. But I do not work with scenes. Bitwig Studio with a button becomes sceneless. And I love that, because I don't work with scenes. I need the horizontal arrange type. Once I've done with songs, I need transitions, I need things. It's just fantastic. This is one of the amazing things that I've seen here. Now look at the bottom, okay? There's solo, there's mute, there's automation, there's the typical stuff that these DAWs have, right? But I have a ton of send returns. Send returns in hardware and in plugin form. They do occupy a ton of room. But here at the bottom, you have the show I/O routing, which is amazing because Pro Tools has that, and you can have the routing if you want it to check it out, and I take it away. Then you have the large track height or the small track height. You need to assess something, you can see it. You need to just not see it, you don't see it. There's not 1,000 zoom levels. It's just, when I saw that, it was awesome. But let's keep going. Do you want to see the effects tracks? Yes? Okay, here's your effects tracks. Look at them. I have a Timeline, Big Sky, Volante, Avalanche Run, Black Hole. These are pedals. Okay? Then I have a 2-bus return, which is my dangerous 2-bus, because I am sending all of my pedals back, returning to the dangerous summing box into my Aurora audio card. Okay? So bear in mind, this is quite important, because I am sending these effects asynchronously, meaning I have outputs for my hardware instruments and effects. I do not have inputs. I only have one. So how does it work? Well, you create hardware effects, you set your input. If it's a straight send return, like you go out on 1-2 and you come back on 1-2, you add another input here, right? But if you are like me, you will not set the input here, you will set it on a separate effect, which has no output because I'm not sending, it's a return, it only has an input, okay? Does it make sense? Ask away if you have questions, huh? Don't just let me go, because there's a ton of information here, but I'll go fast. So the hardware effects pedals, you just put hardware effects insert, that's the insert here, right? Like in Ableton Live, you put them there, it's a module, left to right, the signal flows like that. And what you do is you say, okay, well, I want the Avalanche Run, and I don't, for example, this one, I can say, go away here, Volante, Timeline, Avalanche Run, no returns, just this effect, okay? The return has no send, it only has an input, and it works. Now, I will not click it, but you can calculate the latency. Very important. How do you do it? You don't need to do anything else. You just bypass the effect, click on the ping, and it will send a ping and tell you what the latency is. Done. You can offset the input and output, and you can set the mix level in case you want to mix it up in dry wet. So it's got a parallel send return for hardware stuff right there. Okay? I know so much about what I love. I can't even stop here. But let's keep going. So problem number one for me is that I need outputs for the sends, but I don't want a return for the send. As I said it, my pedals are fed by separate outputs, but they all go to a dangerous summing box. They get summed up, so they have one single input. Okay? Because of that, I need to do this, and Bitwig has 0 issues. Then I have tons of effects, and these are send returns, and they are handled perfectly, and they're sent to buses, which I'll show you maybe later or whatever. So awesome thing. These works, okay? These are all the tracks. You don't want the effects. You don't want to see them here. Look what would happen if I had the effects here, right? These are my effect chains. I don't need that, right? So what I do is I go here and I hide effects. Okay, done. Now, another awesome thing. When I write music, I have a lot of instruments that I want to load inactive. Because when I write a record and the sound I am given is typical of whatever specific soundtrack, and I decide which instruments I have, I load them all, but I keep them inactive. So I need a DAW that can set tracks to inactive. It's not granted, not all the DAWs can do it. This one can. Suppose I want to make coil inactive. I right click it, and I lied. You don't right click it. You go here in active and you disable it, and it will be off your CPU. And I do that because my templates are usually very big. For example, the orchestral science fiction stuff, I have orchestras. I have synths, science fiction effects, cybers, organic stuff, the old names. I make up tons of weird names, but I don't load them all, otherwise my session would explode. But it takes me less time to instantiate a track, so I need active bypass. It does that. Also, while we are on the active inactive thing, you can active or disactive, it's not English, any plugin. So you can have it enabled, bypassed, enabled, engaged, or disabled. When you disengage it, it's off your thing, okay? Hey Marco, welcome. No, don't worry. We'll see here. There's plenty of features. So just hop on and we'll keep going. So I love the possibility of bypassing a plugin. Obviously, everybody wants to bypass a plugin, but look at my mix bus here. You see I have mix A and mix B, right? On my mix A, I have 3 plugins, the 6030, the Soundtech, the Glue. For these sessions, I'm using these 3 plugins, but I am then sending mix A to mix B, which you can do because you select the output and send it to mix B. And mix B goes to my master, okay? What do I have on mix B? You see all of these grayed out plugins? These are Gold Clip, Master Desk, the Sonox Limiter, and an ML4000 ML1. I want to have them disabled because I don't want the latency to be added, but I want to just go enable, active, boom, it gets loaded, and Gold Clip is here. And that's Alberto's Mix Gold Touch. That's my preset. I've been using these since I got this plugin. It's just unbelievable. It sounds fantastic. That's it. But I don't want to use it now, okay? So I right-click it, disable. While we are on it, because I said latency, I'm going to jump from one to the other. Look at what's below the inserts. The processing time, which is getting compensated. Each track in the inserts has the number of milliseconds that it needs to be compensated. So you instantly see which instrument is maybe adding a little bit too much latency and stuff. As long as I am towards a 50-ish milliseconds, you know, I'm okay. So my sessions usually don't want to float around too much stuff, but you can see here and you see contributors, hardware instrument for 29.6 milliseconds, which I think is wrong because I don't think my baseline is that late. But anyway, orange clip 1.3 milliseconds, UAD tube compressor 1.8 milliseconds. Debugging this is super easy. Okay, then I'm jumping stuff. Another thing I absolutely love. Yes, we do have the bottom pane where Ableton Live has its modules, and I love Ableton Live's approach. So I'm super happy that we can use that. But I have the inserts also like old school Pro Tools, right? And this to me is really, really good because I don't want to rely on just having, things, right? I don't want to do that, okay? So why don't I want to do that? Let me just make sure that I am here in the chat. I don't want to miss your messages. I want the inserts just like any other DAW. I want that, I don't want to just have to rely on the bottom part. If I want to hide this thing and not have it, it's done. Do I want to open KHS stereo? Boom. I go on the little monitor here, click it, boom. Reason Rack plugin. I like the Blamsoft Shredder Series Tube 1. What is this? Tube. This is fantastic. I have it. It's an insert. Do I want to see it below here? No problem. There's a pane somewhere that I can turn on, which I forgot where it is. I forgot it, people. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? How do we do that? Tool? All right. We double click it. Done. Easy. Boom. The bottom pane comes up. We're used to it. There's tons of things that are fantastic. We're back there, right? Below the inserts are the sends, which is common to every DAW. But look what I can do to the sends. Number one thing, I have the name. The name. I don't have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K. I have Timeline, Big Sky, Volante, Avalanche Run, Blackhole. The names I know. I want to instantiate a send. I just go up and it turns on. But if I want to bypass it, I just click it and it becomes bypassed. I click it again and it's back. I want to move it. I want to move it. If I want these pre-fader, right click pre-fader. And now this is pre-fader, but the others are post-fader. I need these when I compose. If a DAW cannot do independent pre-post, I cannot use it because I do set my backdrop through the Black Hole plugin or pedal. I have a pedal. You can use a plugin. It sounds amazing as well. A lot of the sounds that do the backdrop for me, when you're in the headphones and you're playing the game and you hear that the soundtrack feels like a sphere around you, but it's just two channels. The way I like to achieve that is by doing pre-fader synth tracks sacrificed to be the backdrop. That's how I called it. If I need to set one pre, they have to be all independent, because if everything goes pre, I cannot do it, So, right? Nice. Then the other thing is, apparently I can set as many send returns as I want. I've done Timeline, Big Sky, Volante, Avalanche Run, Black Hole. 2 bus return. This one I don't use because I can't actually send on it, but I've done a send return. Maybe it's not the best way to do it, but it's separating. Hey Patrick, how you doing? How you doing? Long time no see, Patrick. Hope you're doing good. Ooh, Alberto goes Bitwig. Buy to SB. Tip, add effects tracks to groups. Yes, I'm doing it super wrong. Don't worry about that. I am praising the next coming of these Bitwig Studio. This is just eye opener. Amazing DAW. Really. I will still use the others because I have projects, I have teams that use it, but for the creative workshops that we're gonna do and the stuff that comes into Discord, this is gonna be it. I have to write a ton of music in it. I don't know, Patrick, if you were here. By end of the summer, I have to have a lot of music written in sketches and stuff, and I wanted to find a DAW that would suit that and that I could also stream to people so that you can see how I do it, what I do, and this is it. Bitwig Studio, that's it. So back to what we were doing. The sands, I am not limited to how many sands I can use. I have tons of them, and they're coming up. So I need these many sand retardants. I am sorry, that's how it works to me. I've always been working for years with my glitch delay, rebouncer 2 and 4, pan delay 8 triplets and 16s, survival left right. Don't ask me why. Crotosian and DZ. And I need all of them. It's how it is. I can't do it without, that's how I compose. So, well, we're on it. Amazing. We explained that. Inputs and outputs, that's just how it is. Simple colors, right? The squares. You can even say, I don't even want to get here. Look where you can actually pinpoint an input, okay? You can tell that this track needs to be Kong Cyber, but pre, post, or just the Reason Rack plugin output. Insane, right? You can patch things. This is P12 snares. Who's this? This is drum machine. Drum machine out, chains. Look at the chains, every trigger. And you can even pick it from the output of one of the plugins in the chain. Just insane, okay? But I haven't even done that, but I just saw it, okay? Fantastic. Yeah, Drac Death, that's nice. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. And the operators on the MIDI tracks, I've used them already for a couple things. We'll see them. I don't even know how I can do this in 2 hours. It's just, we gotta go fast. And tomorrow, we gotta be at Super Booth at Bitwig Studio just because they have stickers, they have stuff I wanna put on my RC cars. So, anyway, so another simple but not stupid thing, full screen extravaganza, okay? Follow me on this one because I should work for Bitwig. This is so sparkling. Right click in this bar, or maybe somewhere else, I forgot. Oh, okay. Right click on the very top. You can increase the scaling with no absolute fuss. You want a bigger DAW? Bigger DAW. Just go increase. Do you want to decrease it? Decrease it. Look at the setups. Single display large, in my case, you want to go tablet, triple display, dual display, studio touch. I don't want to say bad words, but you know what? Press F to pay respects because I don't need, please, why hasn't this happened on other DAWs? It's insane. Anyway, we gotta get going. Another super important thing to me in my life is colors, but not the default colors. Colors I make, okay? And here you can select factory colors, or you can have your own palette from an image you import, right? Oh, Patrick, you're gonna get tortured here because the way I've set up my session, I didn't even know how Bitwig worked, and I started working in ways that then I realized exactly. Use groups. Absolutely. I haven't used groups. We're gonna maybe try it later. Yeah. There's so many things that I discovered while I was going. I was just trying to make it crash, and I ended up writing a sketch for a project that I'm doing, and it did, I was like, all right, I gotta save, I gotta use this. So these are the color sets. If you want to use different ones, I have these Alberto Palette V1. That's what I've made. You can import it from an image. You have your computer here, and you just select whatever you want, and you call it. Last, it's not last, it's just another one. Comments. This is a comment. Comments are important. Why? Because, for example, the Prophet 6 here is patch 004, okay? That's how I know, instead of using this. You see that? You can't see it because it's over, it's too much highlights. This piece of tape says 004, okay? And I don't want to do this. I don't want to do pieces of tape unless it says you touch, you die. That one, yes, I want to do. But 004, I don't want to do. So we just go, comments, right? And we take these out. We don't need to use it. It's fine. It's amazing. So this one, okay? The baseline, before I forget, this is pattern 10 and 11, okay? Why? Because it's pattern 10 and 11. And I want to remember that. Is there other stuff I want to write? Maybe not, maybe not. Oh, the Voyager. Perfect. You see what I've done here? User P59 plucky arpeggio. That's a name of a patch because you just go Control R. This thing is useless. It goes here. Right? Boom. Done. This to me is very important because, don't get me wrong, I cannot care less for which patch I am using in a synth. You know why? Because I set it, I customize it, and I print it, and I never run MIDI out of it again, ever. Okay, which is what we're gonna do today. Patrick says, use Bitwig, also Bitwig support program change on external synths. These can also be modulated. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it does so much. Another thing I just want to mention is below the colors and the comments is the active inactive, right? The channel, the pitch band, whatever that is, I've never used it. And then look what is it? Device chain, remote controls, modulations, let's not even get there. And these are, I don't even know, modulation mappings by destination. Okay, these are by source. Okay. You see this one? You see what's below here? It's the channel strip, right? I love this because I don't want to go in the mixer all the time. And I want the master to be sticking there. You see how the master is always there? And you see what's here on the master? Inserts. Why? Because I want to put my presets for room calibration. You know, I've been teaching room calibration and acoustics. It's a masterclass. It's on my Patreon and on Groove 3. So this is the best way to calibrate your stuff. Impulse responses, which can also be linear phase for your speakers. You should really get my course and optimize your speakers because even if you have a fantastic room in the best mastering studio, it will get better. So I have this preset here. I'm doing some sales, sorry. And I want it on reverberate, right? Awesome, fantastic. Now, what did I miss? The pan, okay. You can map stuff if you right click, reset to default, modulation routings, and this is the fader. Whoop. You want to input a number, control click. You want to reset to default, set to default. As easy as that, okay? On top, there's the usual stuff, which we'll not get into as much. There's the looping, there's the editing, the adding, the undo, redo, change values, delete instrument tracks, all the simple things. There's here, this is the hub, I don't know how they call it. Oh, the preferences, the main thing. I usually go control comma, but you can go up here. The installed packages. Look at what is available that I haven't installed. I'm gonna try them all. Artists. Nice. Who's here? Christian Fogel. Oh, okay, so maybe it's the brother of Lucy. All right. Hello, Christian. Glasmo, fantastic. Orchestral brass partners. Oh, by Orchestral Tools. I own these libraries. I'm entitled. So I can install those as well. Help. I don't know why. This is the beta version. This is the about, backend, graphics, blah, blah, blah. All right. So the preferences are also where we're going to spend a little bit of time. Pardon me, but because of the preferences, you will also understand why this thing is amazing, okay? Let's go to the preferences. User interface, English language, display, we saw that, right? You see it sees my two displays, and you can set them how you want. You can set the contrast, black level, and grid lines. You can go to meter mode if you want a K20 or peak RMS. I'm reckless, so I use peak RMS. Waveform display, linear or perceptual. Playhead follow mode, continuous or scroll by pages. So if you're doing post-production, continuous is the thing. You don't want to scroll by page. If you're doing post and sound effects, you need continuous. You can not trust me, but once you will do special sound effects, dialogue, you will want continuous. Trust me. When you have 512 tracks and you are placing footsteps, you want continuous. Mouse behavior, amazing. Transport, show loop region, absolutely. Okay, we're only getting started, but behavior. So tell me about early access releases. This is what you need to set if you want to get the beta version like I have. But you need a license, a legit license, like not a demo, okay? You must not do it in demo. It needs to be just a subscription that is active, legit working, going on, and it will do that. Open on start, dashboard, new project, last project. I go dashboard. The template, if you want to use it, the default track volume. If you tend to be a loud guy, you can do a new track volume low. You know how sometimes you load an instrument and they're super loud? This thing can say, well, you know, whenever I start a track, go -6, go -12, you know? That's okay. Audio preview import mode, play original speed, sync to playing tempo. Oh, this is also beautiful, but other DAWs do it, but this was like, oh yes, it does it. When you preview a sample from your gazillion samples, it will sync it to the playing tempo for you, which is important, I think, because I don't care if I want to listen to something at 140, if my session is at 168, 64. I want to hear it at 164, because that's probably how I'm going to sync it. Detect tempo changes, assume, long sampled stretch, row stretch. This is kind of Ableton Live behavior, right? Default fades, automatically create fades on clip event edits. You know how many times you have clips you cut and you hear those tiny pops and you need to do fades? Gone. And this is not the only DAW that does it, but I'm just saying it must have it. It's 2024, a DAW must have it. Sequencer, latency, 50 milliseconds. I have no idea what this is. So, I don't know. Maybe you do know. Maybe Patrick knows, because it's the Bitwig guy in here. And he's getting tortured because I've done things so wrong while finding out. I have a 2x8 track license available, so maybe we can do a lottery. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, we can do that. We need to do a proper video, maybe on Friday or something. We can plan that. Thank you, Patrick. I think Bitwig will probably also do. I mean, I'll ask Lucy, because now I'm like, you know, I'm asking her all the time, like, can we? Maybe we can do a giveaway through it. But thank you for the idea nonetheless, because this is work. If I get an extra license for a giveaway, we can do a giveaway for the super license, like the best one, which is running at a $349, I think, and now it's $199. So it's not a cheap DAW, inexpensive, but it's beautiful. Anyway, device, floating windows, follow current track. I have no idea what this is doing. I pretty much have an idea, but no. Exclusive solo. Oh, I need exclusive solo. So that's it. Selecting tracks when selecting clips on Arranger timeline, selecting clips in Clip Launcher. I don't usually use this, but there's a lot of people that want to be able to play the synth or instrument when they select a clip. Okay, so this can be your thing, right? You click on a clip, the track becomes active, sort of like linked Pro Tools command, right? But I usually want to stay on an instrument and maybe edit another one, so I like this one better. Set play start marker when selecting clips time on Arranger. Beautiful thing, you click on the arrange, it will set the starting point there. Super stupid simple, but there. No chase, resume playback on no chase. Oh my god, this one, we gotta talk about this. So, have you ever had a super long MIDI note and you start from in between the note, you press play and you don't hear the note, right? Because the note start for the MIDI was actually somewhere before. So if the MIDI start doesn't happen, the note down, right? The note down event isn't happening. It doesn't matter if you're in between that note, you don't have a note down event. Now this command, note chase, will make it possible for you to start that note even if the note start was happening before, as long as you have an eighth note in length. If you're kind of before an eighth note, it will not trigger it, which I think is smart, because sometimes you get false ideas like, is it on tempo? And maybe you're like starting right a little bit after, right? So in this session, in my case, I almost always not use no chase, but there is that one song that has a very long atmospheric start line with, you know what I'm talking about, right? With a very long pad that I have started for it droning for a minute. And when I press play, I want it to start, even if I'm in the middle of this section, and I want to play on stuff. With Note Chase, you don't have to go back to the Note Start event to hear it in context. So it's dangerous for some things, but it's much better. So enable usage data. We should probably help them out and make them figure out how Alberto uses Bitwig Studio. I don't know if it's gonna be helpful for them, but okay, I will help improve Bitwig Studio. Normally I keep it off, but I think this time we should actually have it there. Audio. So the other thing I like here, I will just go a little bit faster. The drivers, you set everything you want. You can override the driver timing, which is cool. Then you set your input buses and you set your output buses. Look at what I have here. 2 bus return, Voyager, Prophet 6, 12, Baseline, Base Station 2, Amiga, Timeline, Big Sky, Volante, Avalanche Run, Black Hole M3, Stream, and Monitor, right? As good as simple as that. Okay, everything is set. You select which is an output and which is speakers. For example, you can have headphones if you have them. I have them through my dangerous MQ, so I don't use a separate headphone out on the card. But fantastic, right? Mono and stereo. You see how the bass line and bass station 2 are mono, others are stereo. Boom, done. No deal breakers. Recording. Start transport on record. Write automation on record. Absolutely yes. Audio recording latency compensation. Absolutely yes. Because if I track MIDI to become audio, I need it to be latency compensated. This is becoming a sort of a whipping against other DAWs. Sometimes you wouldn't believe it. You need to track it, hear it on tempo, see it off tempo, or maybe hear it off tempo, see it on tempo, and then do whatever you need, because sometimes you hear it good and then you need to move it, backwards because you're late, because your session has plugins with latency. No. If a DAW does that, it's wrong. It's 2024. Come on. It shouldn't happen. Then there's pre-roll, play metronome during pre-roll, which I love, and it gets out when the metronome has played the pre-roll. It disables itself and you hear the song. In very rare cases, I need the metronome to play on top of my stuff. And I'm gonna make a big deal out of everything here. You know why I don't need the metronome? Because the tiny little click or beep or cowbell or whatever is gonna go straight on time on my snares and kicks, usually. And it will make me believe that my kick has kind of a snappier tone, and then I want them dark usually, and so I will go, and you go like, oh, this is too bright. Then the click goes away and you go like, oh, actually that's fine. Or sometimes you go like, oh, that's very good. Then you take the click out and your song doesn't drive the same way. Well, obviously, because you have quarter notes. So this is amazing that you do 2 bars, get the feel for it, out. Awesome. Record quantization. You wouldn't believe how many people, and I myself sometimes when I write sketches, I do 16 notes quantization. Why do I do that? And if I don't do it on the fly, I'll do it later on, because I need loopable music. I can actually play, you know what? It's not an issue. The problem is that if it's not 100% quantized, the delays I write will get out of tempo in the looping of the sequence. And when the programmers or developers will cut the loop or tell the engine to go back, and the effects are printed in my own audio as an effects stem or cue, the cue will sound weird if it's not on the grid. Okay? So for most of the video game music that I've been underscoring music, doing even the things we're doing with Ubisoft for the past, 4 or 5 months, it's a red flag if I send sketches that are, how can I say, like artistically playing. Well, if it's a piano song and it's like very moody and it's a cut scene, no problem. If it's an in-game cue that the engine will select and say, I don't want to have drums, I want to have drums, I don't want percussion, it needs to be tight. 100%. So you can, record quantize at 16s. I like to see it, how it was beautifully played by me, and tell myself that I was doing the right thing in studying piano, and then I quantize it. All right? That's how I do it. I hope you have similar kinks in your life. Then the recording resolution, one thing, but the bouncing resolution is a different thing. So I use 24 bits, kind of old school, auto arm instrument tracks, auto arm audio tracks. That's also pretty cool. Controllers. Okay. Ooh. Why is this also more awesomeness? Because you have a takeover mode. Takeover mode means that the parameters you're touching can be immediate, can be catched, or can be caught, English, or can be relatively scaled. You know how when you turn a pot and the value is different than its starting position, you will get an immediate takeover? It means that the moment you touch a knob, it will jump to the value. I usually don't like that. I want catch. My Prophet 12 and maybe the 6 as well are playing on catch. So they will move around, catch the value, and then they will drag it, right? I kind of like it better that way. But for example, the bass station, I don't have it on catch. It's immediate. So it depends. Maybe a little bit more atmospheric, weird stuff, I like catch. And then for gnarly, badass stuff, I like immediate. I don't know. But you can select in here, right? So here's my controllers. And here's so far how I've set them. I'm actually missing 4, 5, but I don't use the Amiga as a controller. So I could I use a tracker like Pro Tracker 2 and send MIDI to Bitwig. We could try that. We could do a stream just on that. That'd be amazing. Have the Pro Tracker trigger Reason instruments, for example. So USB base station, you can turn it on and off. You can see the dialogue on top here if you want. See, for example, this one. I kind of like to have it because sometimes if there's a message that it's going to say, it's right there. You select your MIDI or USB stuff, and then you add controller, keyboard, MIDI keyboard, generic, whatever. You can, whatever. I only use generic ones because I don't have actual controllers. So, I move the knobs on the synth that is playing, and I bounce it afterwards after it's printed. So I don't care. But amazing. Now, are you ready for the most kick-ass part ever? This one, synchronization. Bitwig Studio can sync from an external source. So you go off, like in my case, I'm not syncing it. So it's the master. Bitwig Studio is the master, but you could have your Octatrack be your MIDI clock master, okay? I actually have a friend whose Octatrack I might go and buy in a couple of weeks. And because he's got the 2 and 1, I might buy the 1. What do you think? Would you buy the 1 or would you buy something else because the Octatrack is pure madness to program? I love it for how mad it is. But anyway, if you want to clock it there, you can go MIDI clock, you select your port, you give it a delay in tenths of milliseconds, which is fantastic, right? You can do it here. That's the level of the clock you're sending, probably, whatever. We go default. Can I reset it? Yes. So I don't clock it. You can have Ableton Link as well. I go off. I do send clock to my devices, okay? So the base station 2 is getting clock here, okay? And it's SPP, it's the song position pointer, MTC if it's got MIDI time code, and the clock offset, okay? So number 1 is, I'm reading because I don't remember them. Do you want to enable MIDI clock or not? In this case, yes, I want to send MIDI clock to the base station. Do you want to send start-stop messages? Yes. Do you want to send MIDI clock all the time? Yes or no? Yes. This was one of the deal breakers with Studio One at the time, on top of a couple other sync issues I had when sessions were heavy, which might have been resolved, but I don't know because I haven't been doing heavy hardware stuff on Studio One in the last year. But I need to send MIDI clock sometimes all the freaking time. The reason for it is especially my pedals, which are on 16, need to be, they actually don't need start-stop messages probably, I don't know. But the pedals that are on 16 are all my Strymons and the Avalanche Run, the Black Hole. Sometimes I have a couple other ones that I add in chain to the Strymons. I need the clock to be sent all the time because I do tempo changes, like, slowing down on a song finale, for example. That's called rallentando. I do that, for example, and I need the clock to kind of follow along. So I always need to send it because I want the gear to be ready. If you don't send always the MIDI clock, it might be okay, in some cases or not. I like to have these options, so here it is, okay? There's an MTC rate, awesome for when I get videos or I have MIDI timecode, because trust me, these will put you to bed if you set it wrong or if your DAW ignores it. I usually have a 24 or 29, it depends what I get sent. Awesome, for sure. But this is a godsend. The fact that you have delays, MTCs, SPPs, you have a constant MIDI clock sent, start, stop messages, just beautiful. Then you have your locations, and hear it out. Please don't fall asleep. You have your session locations and all the stuff that you want to use, right? But you can tell the Bitwig Studio to prefer clap over VST when available, VST 3/2 and 64/32. Now, I am not 100% sure because I use JBridge, which, if you don't know, JBridge is the thing to have on Windows if you're using 32-bit plugins. But I have to make a confession, and I hope you don't drop the stream now. I do use 32-bit plugins. I have a couple of them that I keep using because I love them, and I wrap them with JBridge. And JBridge has been working phenomenally. It's just fantastic, right? So Jay's stuff was a godsend to me. It really helped me out. It actually got the license in a moment in which a session was putting me in trouble, and I wrapped it, opened it, works. But I'm sure, Patrick, maybe you can confirm that Bitwig opens 32-bit plugins because it wraps them itself, which is fairly cool. I think for me, it's awesome. So all plugins, preferred formats, whatever, I keep it here. Control the scripts if you have audio analysis. If you don't want to do audio analysis, you can even disable that somewhere. But here comes another amazing thing. And trust me, this is so good. I'm gonna backstep one move. I told you I compose and mix. I don't do a mixing session after I'm done composing. I don't do that. I mix when you send me your song and it's tracked, then we mix it. But if it's my music, my sketches, my soundtracks, my whatever, my attempt at getting a AAA gig for, I don't know, whatever, the next Cyberpunk 2077 game, I do record the hardware instruments, hardware effects, software instruments, software effects, and then I add effects on top of it. I mix as I go. My song is everything, minus the mastering probably, which I couldn't probably care as much as I would if it was your record, okay? Now you can tell the engine in Bitwig Studio to handle plugins in 5 different ways. The safest is at the rightmost part. It tells Bitwig to wrap, or the term is sandbox. I don't know if you're familiar with the term sandbox. It tells the software, Bitwig Studio, to create a capsule, all right? A special pod, a capsule, an ecosystem, an environment, a sort of like a safe room for each plugin. So if a plugin decides to crap out on you, it will destroy itself, but the pod will get ejected and your spaceship will be intact and safe, unharmed, okay? It's like when you're testing viruses. Each plugin could become potentially hazardous, and so it can be destroyed into the sandbox and reopened. The safest is individually, so each of your plugins will be individually wrapped in an ecosystem of its own. If it booms up, if it explodes, it just explodes that one single plugin. It does use the most resources because you need to build walls to contain each virus, right? or this alien life form, right? But what if the alien life form escapes, your level 5 security system, all right? Level 5 clearance, level 5 security is your safest, but it also uses the most resources. The level 4 is by plugin. So each plugin type or name, for example, the 4020 retro EQs, all of the 4020 retro EQs become sandboxed together. And if one of these dies and explodes or becomes toxic, the whole of the 4020s will get destroyed and remade and will use more resources, but it will use a little bit less than individually, but security level 4 will make it possible for you to say, okay, we do suffer a massive sort of loss because we are rebuilding the whole ecosystem for the whole of that plugin name, right? But we are saving a lot of the session by it, right? So Patrick says built-in bit bridging, Bitwig Studio plugs right into existing setup with modern software architecture, all right, are supported native for 32 and 64 bits. Thank you, Patrick. So you confirmed what I had seen. It will wrap your plugins for you, which is beautiful. I need to try that out because I will trust that Bitwig will prefer its own sort of wrapping, which will make it probably safer for automation and all that stuff. Awesome. I don't think I automate 32-bit plugins that I have, but anyway. Level 3 security is by manufacturer. So you create one huge pod or sort of like safe room in which the whole of the manufacturer plugins that you use go. It uses less resources than security 4 and 5 because you have to build less containment areas. You build one bigger by manufacturer, but you're still doing manufacturer-based ecosystems. So if one ecosystem becomes toxic or dangerous for the mothership, you destroy this habitat and you save the mothership and all of the other ones. But it's a pretty big habitat because it's manufacturer-based. Okay, so all of Mac DSP plugins are in there. You're barning away, you're ejecting the whole habitat with all of the Mac DSP's plugins. So, it takes a bit more time to recover. You might get, it just does more damage when you destroy it, but it's still moderately safe and it uses less resources than clearance 4, security 4. Security level 2 is together. So sandbox together, separating them from the audio engine. This means that your plugins are one thing, and Bitwig the DAW, the session, the song, is another thing. So it's safe because your DAW is where you write your music. The plugins are doing stuff for your song. So, security 2 is a lot easier on resources, but you only have two habitats: your song, in which you live, and then your plugins. Something goes wrong in there, it's a huge habitat. You have to burn everything. Okay, so you lose a lot of wildlife and flora and fauna. And the wildlife is the fauna, so you lose flora. Then within Bitwig is security level 1. You all live happily in the spaceship. If somebody has an alien coming out of their chest, they're in the main hall of the restaurant, okay? And everybody can see that. So you order chicken or soup, that depends, but you're all in it together, okay? And I'm using 4. Patrick says it's bound to the sandbox principle exactly, where every plugin has its own safe environment. If the plugin crashes, the DAW keeps playing and allows you to recover the crashed plugin. Exactly. I've gone by plugin, security level 4. I think it's kind of okay. But you can do overrides. So if a plugin is an absolute bitch, which I don't know if it gets censored or anything from YouTube or Twitch, if a plugin is misbehaving, or that is known for being sort of like heavier or bugged or doesn't like getting sandboxed with other stuff, just, if it's something that you feel better at having individually wrapped, You can do by plugin, or you can even do within Bitwig, but you can tell Bitwig Studio to go just individually override, like this plugin, it's scary. This plugin is dangerous. I want it to be self-contained, but the rest I want to keep where it is. So you can search, for example, I know Contact. I have 3,000 million versions of Contact, and they're all in here, right? Or I could do, I don't know, what is it, like Gulfos, for example, you know? Maybe you have a plugin manufacturer you know on top of your head that makes very heavy plugins, and you want them to be individually hosted just so that they crash and they, you know, don't do that. You can show plugin errors, and then there's the shortcuts, which, ooh, it's a lot of them, okay? And you can have different mappings. So you can map something and you can head it for your controller or for your keyboard. Just fantastic. The packages are the extras that you install or not, and I have tons that I want to install here, and then the help and whatever. So it was long, but I was, when I was using it 3 days ago, I said I have to show them the settings, because if anyone has used a DAW and tries it out, to me there's always the one something in the preferences to go like, oh, I cannot do that. Done. You know, if I cannot do it, then I can't use it. Right? So the preferences itself is really, really, really good. So try Control Enter in Bitwig. Okay, let's try that. I'm gonna try that, right? I'm saving just because. Control Enter. Oh, wow. Thank you, Patrick, for it. So if you do Control Enter, it seems like you've entered, okay, this, it's a join. Oh, let's go, whatever. Oh, gain, pause. So this is a Ranger clip detail editor. You have categories for every function in the software. Man, this is insane. So if I want to go, whatever, like full screen, I don't like that. What have I done here? Oh, right, Control Enter here. Do I do that? Ah, no, it's only a reference. Okay, you can't change it from here, but it's telling you what the thing is. Ah, okay. So obviously you can change it in the preferences here in mappings, shortcuts. Here they are. But if you want to just get a reference pane, that's the thing it is. Nice. So for example, I tend to like to, whatever, go to record. Toggle record, F9. Okay, I'm fine with F9, but it's a search for every option in Bitwig. Fantastic. Awesome. So you want to loop something here. For example, you go Control L and you have your loop, but your starting point is where you click in the session, which I absolutely love. Now let me check if you get sound here. Let me see. I'm not getting sound either. Why? Because I've entered the preferences. Something's off here. Let me do prod kick. All right. But I see that you do not have audio. Why you don't have audio? You don't have audio because I haven't mapped a stream channel. Okay. So we're going to drive Patrick nuts and we're going to make a send retard channel. No. Yes. Probably yes. Here's how we're going to do it. No. Actually, no. On my master, look how I'm doing this, okay? There's this reverberate instrument here, right? This thing is, no, hold on, master. On my master, there's reverberate, and that's my room correction, okay? I'm gonna add, after or before, something that is hardware effects, okay? You notice how fast this is? I go plus, and I go, and this is the selection of everything I have. I don't need to search. I just go hardware effects, down, enter. Notice what it does here when you're selecting stuff. It places it for you because I have live preview engaged. So you can test how this sounds. You can play with it, mess around, pretend it's awesome, and then you say, wow, it sucks. It's way worse than I thought it would be. Okay, maybe this is not what I wanted. Maybe a ladder is better filter. And you mess it up, you try it while things are going, and then you like it, and you go okay, and it's confirmed. You want to erase it, go delete, erase it. How cool is that, right? So what I need to do here is incredibly simple. I want to do an output. Let's see if this works. I want to send it to 1314, okay? Ooh, audio engine crashed. We got the first crash ever, okay? What were you doing at the time of the crash? I was streaming live. I was live streaming a tutorial, a showcase for Bitwig Studio 5.12 Beta 2, and I was trying to what was I trying to do? To edit, to assign an output to an hardware effects insert placed on my master channel. Everyone is reading this as I type. And we're gonna go info@fuseroom.com, send report. Okay, so it did crash, right? But look what happened. I can activate the audio engine and hopefully get the session back. See how it's spinning? It's restoring everything. And it might work. So it's loading the plugins again. This is bad, but this is good because it's the session, the song has not stuttered, hasn't flinched 1 second. You see, the session is getting rebuilt and I can press play once it's done. And maybe, hold on. I think because I have this one. Do I hear it? Do I don't hear it? Maybe yes. Oh, because it's not playing in here. Okay, all beats. I hear it. Nice. Okay, so what if I go 50% and I think I need to select an output here. Okay, I want stream. Am I sending it to you? Yes. All right, so I am sending it as a mix 50%, but I want to send it to you before reverberate because I don't want you to hear my room calibration, okay? Now it's taking these out, so what I can do is just gain things using a tool, and I will go volume plus 6, right? Why is there volume and gain? I'm gonna go 6. So I am back at my same level, but I'm sending audio to you before my actual correction. Simple as that. No panning changes, no nothing. This is just my stream to you now, and you can hear what I'm doing, right? You hear that's the old beats part. If I want to play my bass station, I select it. I put it in solo just because I'm doing solo, and it's playing, okay? So, and it's got all of the effects. You see here, pulverize, what is it, like pulver, what is this going? Pul 2, okay. So bass station 2 is outputting to Pul 2, and for whatever, right? Something, I don't know, I don't remember, but it's going through all Pul 2, and it's going here to Pulver 2 that has a tool plugin that is here. Let's see what that is. Tool plugin is just doing gain -6, and then there's pulverizer, which is set on orbital, which is a preset I have. So it's going there, and then it's going to the master out, and it's going to you, and then it's going to my calibration, and then it's getting rebounded because I have thing. And Patrick says, if you select a native Bitwig plugin and press, I don't see what you, hold on. I have the chat slightly canted. Press F1, you get an interactive help screen, explain the knobs and allows you to adjust every knob in real time. Ooh, okay. So if I do, for example, if I want to add, I want to hear the bass line I've played here, for example, bass station, sorry, here. Okay, so this part I've written plays like this. Okay. And it's now looping back. But what I've done here, when I composed this, I wrote the bass station without the effects because my pedals weren't turned off. So I can select it here. I see all the inserts, and if I go here, bottom left, I see all the sends. And you know what is awesome about this? That if I use my scroll wheel, it doesn't change the values of the parameters. How many times you've used your scroll wheel on something and that thing moved not the list of things you have, but the parameters you have? I hate it so much. So I know when I wrote this, I want it to be just dry, okay? So here, this part, hear it out, let's loop it. Right? Okay. So also I modified the wave synth, the Alchemy synth drums, and I put a morph verb, but my pedals were off. So I also have to check that. This was right before the stream. I had my pedals off and I've played this bass station part, which you can double click and see. Right? You hear I've done something here? You hear it's moving? Look, what is it? Tool, classic LFO, no. It's controller, and then I want to add another one. It's general purpose. Where is it? MIDI controller, general purpose. You know what these two are? These are filter and volume or something. I don't know. But it tracked and it sounds exactly what I was doing here. I first played the notes and then I've done some damage here, and you can see that. You don't want to see the automation any longer? Boom, off. Simple as that. Easy, easy. So, for example, I want to hear it and the timeline and the volante, and I don't want to use them here, okay? The black hole is in pre, so I'll just go, and then why does the bass station 2, okay, no, the bass station 2 goes to old Pulver, this is good. The black hole, we don't want it, right? So, down. All right, you see what I've done here? I go to bass station, I see here bass station 2. Why? Because this is my MIDI instrument, okay? What I do is I'm sending clock, but I'm also sending MIDI clock here, okay? So look what happens if I disable this. Okay, so in this case, the clock is getting sent anyway. But in another case, the bass line was getting twice the clock. So you can even not clock the sync situations you have. For example, you can tell that the MIDI 15 channel on my interface must not be clocked all the time, but you can still clock an instrument here if you want. You can start the MPE, you can have it on whatever channel you want, you have note effects, you have different effects, and you can set the retard that I have also pinged to know how late that is. And you can offset the retard bus, and you can set the output post note effects and effects. How cool is that? Okay, now look what happens after the bass station. Okay, this is just one of the many things. There is a plugin called Morph Verb, which is made by United Plugins and Muramasa. And I seriously hope you don't buy Morph Verb. I know Jakub, sorry, and the people at Muramasa and all, you know, and United Plugins are gonna say, don't say that, you know. But the reason why you shouldn't buy that is because this is still one of the most underrated reverbs ever. And Patrick is absolutely forbidden to use it because I know Patrick writes music for games. So find yourself another reverb. I don't care. Maybe you don't even, I hope you don't like it. Don't buy it. You know, it's unfortunately inexpensive. So that's a problem. This is one of my favorite reverbs ever, ever, ever. And there's tons of presets in these plugin that I have made and I actually have sent to United Plugins and Muramasa. So Fighter Cockpit is coming from a piece of music that I wrote and then I saved the preset in here. And look what happens. Do you see the dry wet is moving? You see it's moving, right? Even if I'm not doing anything, it's moving. Now, did I automate that? Now, if I were to use automation on that knob, it would move, but I would need to be playing the song, right? I'm not playing anything. Look at that. I am not playing anything, right? So why is it moving? Because this Bitwig Studio thing, DAW, has modulators, okay? So I have assigned a modulator that is LFO, and there's a list of them here. These are all the modulators you can add: 4-stage ADSRs, old school LFOs, beat LFOs, key tracking, MIDI, mathematics, polynom, you name it, okay? I've added a super simple LFO in Sine, and I have assigned it to dry wet. So this thing has its own LFO bar, its own free rolling, whatever, and it's going. It's doing its thing, and it's moving the dry wet on morph verb. Okay, so originally my patch sounded like this. All right, I'm gonna give you some context. All right, let's just die these out. Okay, I'm gonna add, yeah, let's add some context. So okay, so I'm not adding too much stuff because, again, I made the mistake to play this part before the stream started. The effects were off, so probably I need to rebalance stuff. But so far, it's sounding fairly clean. It's kind of a nice patch. It's number 10 here on the base station, and it's just that. But I wanted it to be, you know, have a pizzazz, you know, the kind of signature sound I have that made me, you know, so loved in the video game industry, right? So Patrick says, if you move all the effects to the effects of your Bitwig plugin, you can save it as a preset. Very handy to save and recall. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can do that in here on the output of the base station, and then it becomes, or if you move all the effects to the effects of your Bitwig plugin. Hold on, maybe if you move the effects to the effects of your Bitwig plugin. Oh, yes, right. So not as inserts, but as that thing in blue, right? I'm still learning from Patrick, who's forbidden to buy morph verb and use it. I'm just kidding. I think do you have it? You should. It's just fantastic. Anyway, morph verb. I turn it on and I automate these LFO here. Okay, I can even turn it. Can I turn it off? No. All right. So let's play it and hear it. Hear it, but it disappears, right? It's disappearing. Why does it disappear? Because yes, there's effects. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Patrick, for verifying that, because, you know, yes. I don't know, that one here. Okay, the blue thing then becomes self-contained instead of being different boxes. Fantastic. I was kind of asking myself why it's not effects or effects. So not effects will affect the MIDI itself. So I can add arpeggiators, for example, so I don't have to play. But effects are actual effects constrained within a single instance. This is huge. This is really good. Cool, cool. Okay, so then I have a, what is it? 60-30 comp So it's going this way, right? So the comp itself, when I turn it on, does this. It's not, I remember it was doing more, but it's not doing much. But it's keeping the synth up there, right? An LA2 would also be cool, but I love this thing. Anyway, so I've used the 359. Now there's an auto pan, okay? So the auto panner has actually two LFOs, but I'm thinking I'm only using one, right? So what the auto panner does is you see it's using a square wave, because classic LFO will allow you to set the waveform for the LFO, and it's just moving up and down, up and down. But I think I automated the quantity by hand, okay? So the amount is going up the more the patch is playing. So the auto panner becomes wider and wider. You hear it? It's super nice. I gave it 4 bars, I think, somewhere in here. I've selected 1-1, but then I don't remember. Where did I pick that? 1-1. Yeah, okay. Well, I did 1 bar. So it's doing 1 bar, but I automated the amount by hand. And we can see that, because if I go here to the base station and open this and I add another parameter, I have tool and I have amount, right? Unsync classic LFO amount. And here's the thing I wrote. See? That's how I did it. And it's doing, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? But it's increasing. So it becomes wider. Now, all of this stuff is what I needed for the music I want and need to write from here to end of summer. Like, I don't want to write songs with tons of tracks. I want to write songs with expression in it. And if your DAWs are a little bit tedious and old school, you tend to go new track, new instrument, play. New track, new instrument, play. Okay? I could not, this needs to be this important. Okay? Here it is. 2 times Alberto and everything else. Now, what I was commissioned clearly said, Alberto, have you listened to these guys, and this guy? And I was like, yeah, some of them I know. Okay, they have recorded and done this soundtrack using pretty much almost not even a DAW. They had a drum machine, a bass machine, a couple synths, and it just flows, but it's not overly complicated in terms of how many tracks there are. And why could they do that? Because they had access to the physicality of their instruments, and they did tons of matrix modulations. So I said, okay, if I do it in digital with the DAW, I need something that is fast. And we explored Reason, we explored Live, and then we ended up with Bitwig Studio and sold. This thing sold. Really, really, really cool. Okay? I'm just brainstorming things. See the modulators? Modulators are the life of your song. Oftentimes you say, it doesn't still sound right. Let me open a new instrument, a contact library, and add a piano part. Oh, nice, but let me add the strings part. You don't need more instruments, You maybe need proper modulation, proper expression, right? And by expression, I mean everything. Patrick says, if you use curves instead of classic LFO, you can draw your own LFO shape and sync these to your session. Ooh, nice. I think I'm going to do it for something else. Let's just see what I had here, because this is the base station. Okay. Okay, the Prophet 6, I have not bounced, I think, right? Let me see what this thing is doing. This one. Okay, So this track I haven't bounced. It's an instrument. So I double click this and we see it. It's this that? Oh yes. I was like, it doesn't use MIDI 12. No, it does use MIDI 12. It does. So MIDI 12, it's the Prophet 6. It's coming down at 3.85 milliseconds. I have no idea why. It does have a note effects. I had an arpeggiator, but then I didn't use it. So I did try that. Let's erase it. So it's coming out there. The retard is Prophet 6. And then I have a morph verb, Echo Boy, whatever you want to call it, Echo Boy. A 60-30, and then Fury, and then an EQ5. Okay, let's hear how this thing was playing. This is the real hardware synth. This thing is playing right now. You can see that here, right? You can see the Prophet 6, actually the camera is there, right? And the pedals on top. So that's patch number 4. I remember because I had this thing, but now I wrote it there. Did I write it here? Yeah, all right, patch 4. Okay, patch 4 in the comments. Let's do it, save so we don't forget. Okay, so you see this part is actually this. I only played this, but if you wanna extend the part, you can extend it, but look what happens. Like there's no MIDI events in here, right? Because I haven't played any. But if I want to loop that, what I was doing before, and Patrick's gonna probably like throw up. I was doing Control D, doing this, right? But if you edit one part, you will not edit them all, which can be fine, right? But as a starting point, if you go a little bit below here, you see there's a loop icon happening, right? So what I do is I extend it, and I put it here. I even forgot where we were. Probably here. No, maybe here. Maybe, I don't even know. Well, I'll undo things. Thank you very much. All right. I think this is just sketching. It's not supposed to be down there, but we'll keep it there. You see there's a tiny little dashed line here. It means that it's repeating, but it's looped. So you just drag your crap around and it will loop. Okay. And if I make a change here, it will go everywhere, right? Because it's a loop repeat. It's clones, it's ghosts. It's not the real take. The real take is the first one, okay? So here we have the editor for notes. If I go to a drum machine and I want to edit the notes, I have the format for my drum machine style, right? So if you want to hear the notes, you just go on the little speakerphone. And right now, I don't know why I'm not hearing them for whatever reason. Blah. Who knows? We'll find out. Anyway, we want to hear the Prophet 6. We go here. We click notes. Right? If we move it, it just moves the note. It's so good. If we control, move it, it extends it. If it goes here, we can extend this. I find it extremely, extremely nice and easy. Right? Typical Alberto stuff. This is sort of a 7 against 8, right? So it's shifting around. And while things are playing, like these kicks, like the hats, right? And the pattern, the bass line, right? But it's super, super, super dry. Let's stay here on the Prophets here. So what I've added is morph verb here, and that's another preset of mine, Watcher 6, which comes from a video game that has this name, or not this name, but that has part of this name. So it took me some time, but I did it, and it's a preset, so you can just load it in. I don't know if I've touched it or not. Then Echo Boy, which is expiring, my licenses are expiring in 12 days, so I better hear how it's blending in, right? Then I've done the 60-30 again. What I have here, the 7-1. And then I've added Fury. If you don't have Fury, don't buy it. No, buy it. it's heaviosity. It's just fantastic. Not much, but it's a lot. And then I darken it down. So the built-in effects are fantastic. Just because you can go global here for how much you want. You can shift things around with shift. Why can I shift these? What is it doing? Oh, probably what it's doing is actually doing the, like, shifting the octaves for what I've done. I have no idea. Anyway, both shows, okay, this is the visualizer, pre and post. It's such a beautiful EQ. This is built in. So I think if I do F1, look at this. This is what Patrick said. If you press F1, it will tell you how to really use it, not how I do use it, all right? So the kick for the Alchemy here, which is a drum machine, sounds in effect a little bit dry. So I was right in putting more third. But what I wanted to show you is, look at what drum machine is. Wave Alchemy Synth Sounds is straight from Bitwig's library. And do you notice any resemblance with what the drum machine module device is? It's Abletonian. And I love that because, right? So I love this actually. I liked it a lot. And what have I done? I think, oh, I had a morph verb here that, okay, let me hear it. And I find it fascinating that it's not playing. There's gotta be something in here. Why isn't it playing? You know? Oh, because the output is completely mono symphony. Ah, wait a sec. Who is modulating this guy? Nobody should. Did I write some modulation in here? Pardon me. What's the master ball? I didn't. Why am I moving these around? Why isn't it playing? There has to be some of the most stupid explanations for it. But it isn't playing, right? Is it going up? Am I doing things? Am I serious? Okay. I hear it. Why isn't it old beats playing? That's a mystery moment. Oh gosh, why? Old beats? Isn't it going to old beats? It is going to old beats. But I think it's the volume thing here. Drag module. I think I've modulated something for whatever reason. Oh, can I do this? All right. Oh, I thought I had it, but I don't. What if I send it to, but this is playing, right? If I go here. So I've moved, why isn't it playing the MIDI? Do it, muted looping, whatever. This should be happening. Oh, because it's B0. Who moved this thing? I did. For sure. So why am I... Okay. Don't panic. We found the problem. So I move these around. We just go... Ciao. This one we don't really need. So now that I found the problem, I'm going to undo the heck out of it because this was... I have no idea why I did it. So probably the inexperienced in me. So, okay, now I want that kick. Okay, I don't even know why that is playing there, but that sounds about right, or not, I don't know. Right, that's exactly what I wanted, okay. Oh, okay, so we're back, this works. But it's a little bit dry, as I was mentioning before. So I'm gonna de-dry it out. Okay, here. Did I have a preset here? Yes, right? I think so. I think I had Watcher 6? No. Yeah, no, Fighter Cockpit? I don't remember. Oh, exactly what I wanted. It could be a little bit maybe of I mean, it's still sketching. No, the pre-delay is fine. I remember why I made this. Okay, so weird stuff. What do we wanna see? Oh, coil. So coil, who is coil? Coil is reactor 6. It's still heaviosity. If you don't have coil, just get it. It's fantastic. Or maybe don't get it. So I keep my sounds for myself. That's the GMG. Okay, cool. What other weird stuff do I have here? I know I have weird stuff. Oh, for example, okay, the redrum here. This redrum I have. Let's open this. This one goes to a Reason Rack plugin that I obviously have designed myself. And it's just running patterns straight up. So it's my kids, I don't know. And the pattern, sort of this, you see, I'll play that stuff. If I take this and play it, right? But it's also going to tons of send returns and stuff. No problem. I've just, I did it kind of fast and it works. So the drums, these one, the kicks, the hats. These are my Prophet 12 kicks and hats. If you're a patron, you can get these kicks, hats, snares, ish, and things. Do I have snares here? I think I had for some time. How long is this song? Okay, let's hear the first part. I mean, it's not even a song. Let's call it song. Who's this guy? Okay, the Prophet. What is the Prophet 12? Okay, now it's these wave synth drums completely off to the other one, but I kind of like it where it is. And here I think it's opens up. Oh, and then it loops back. Okay, now I see what I'm doing. So these are all sections. Why did I start here with? Okay. So I'm only laying down the ideas of the stuff that I started writing. Now it makes sense. So I didn't go backwards. I actually went from there. So we were saying the Prophet 6 wasn't bounced. I think this is the one thing I want to show you because it's just better. So how do you bounce a real instrument into audio? Okay, it's easy. You just go right click and go bounce in place. All right. So you can bounce or bounce in place. Let's try and bounce in place. You see what it's doing? It's just bouncing that out of the part. If I don't have the solo, it will do it anyway. But why was it bouncing the whole thing, even if this is clearly looped? It's doing that because it's smart. It knows that I might want to go there and fiddle with notes and stuff while that is playing. Does it make any sense? If I want to bounce just this, I will go back here and go bounce in place. Okay, now what happened is this is bounced. So the Prophet 6 track now is no longer a MIDI track. Have you noticed it did change? You probably didn't notice because I didn't notice when it started. There's three, you have MIDI tracks, right? And you have audio tracks. A MIDI track you have a device on it, you have a virtual instrument, an audio track, you have audio. But there's hybrid tracks, which are MIDI tracks that have audio events on them, and Bitwig Studio just doesn't give a darn. It just plays them. So now we have audio on the actual MIDI track. So forget about it. You know, famous movie quote. It's your Prophet 6. It doesn't matter what it's doing. You double click it, you see audio. Okay, now you know you printed it. You don't see audio, you see MIDI, you know it's still in MIDI form. You don't need science, you don't need double tracking, you don't need... And by the way, you hear it, how many plugins are there, and these things are playing live, people. Everything here is playing live. I haven't bounced it, okay? So, for example, let's bounce these part, okay? And I want to bounce it, all of it, okay? So here, okay, yeah, okay, this should be fine. So we loop it. It's my base station. I want to free it from other stuff. So I go boom, bounce in place. I don't need to solo anything, just bounce in place. All right, are we done? Nope, we're not done. See, now I can see that it's printed, right? And it's a mono track. Why? It's actually a stereo track. Oh yes, it probably needs to be a stereo track. Does it need to be a stereo track? No. Well, it's a stereo track. Okay, now I can comp it, stretch it, onset, gain, pitch. Are you seeing how accurate the print is? There's no, this is better than the other DAW. This has a vibe. This has a feeling. There's none of that. I couldn't care less about, if I buy an MPC and play it and play with the shuffle, then yes, then I want to hear the magic of the MPC doing that kind of shuffle that kind of Nothing Still has, right? It's the MPC that does it. That's okay. But if I have a DAW and I have MIDI and I print it down, I don't want art. I just want mathematics at work. Just drop it down and make it audio. And this one did it. And I am on day 3 of using Bitwig. I have seen no tutorial. I have been the worst ever. I just wrote them how awesome that was on day 1. And then I haven't watched a single tutorial, masterclass, because, I don't want to get erectile dysfunction afterwards, just to see all of the producers, the people that do tripixter, pop, whatever, do amazing stuff. I'm so scared. I don't even watch my own tutorials because I'm very afraid to learn something, So, but I learned from it, just using it. Everything I knew from all the other DAWs just fell into place. If a shortcut wasn't exactly asterisk, it was F9. You know what I mean? Like if it's not Pro Tools, it's Ableton, sorta. So now let's process the Prophet as well. But let's do the Prophet as a whole thing because I want to mess kind of in real time. I don't know. Do we want to print the thing? No, let's do a real time crapaholic show here. Let's do, let's just play with it. I'll just play with it. I'll give it a go. And, but I'll track it because I always track it. So F9, then I want to start from here. Yeah, I want to start a bar before, whatever. Well, let's start right off the bat. Okay, I'm going to press spacebar and then we see where we are. All right, you heard it? I got it. Okay, I don't want to record. What was I recording? I was recording a base station. Doesn't matter. I've played this Prophet 6 thing here. No, here. And that's the guy I want. That's the thing. So I'm going to record over it because it's going to probably add some modulation parameters and things to it. Well, let me do a test because I haven't tried if I've mapped the controls right, like if it's communicating the right way. Let's try something stupid. Okay, I've just moved the filter thing. I think it's tracking anyway, and I have no idea where I have to go now. Oh, no. No expression. So what do I want? This is no parameter. Okay, it's probably not here. It's here. Display controller 12. Oh, yes, see, it did it, right? So I moved something, I did a thing, and it did it. So undo-ish. Okay, I want to record straight from here, and I want to record some filter modulation on it. If you won't see my hands, so I'm actually playing with the cutoff and resonance of the low pass. You know, very, very inventive, right? Let's do this. Okay, I still don't like it. I want to start a little bit before. I like now the starting point, so let's do it. Why don't I hear it play right off the bat? Oh, there's this. I did a thing probably. Nope. Yes, maybe. Who's automating here? Why am I not hearing it play right off? Oh, I see what happened. Using bounce in place on a clip within a group track, the newly bounced clip is placed on the group track's internal master track instead of replacing the source clip. Nice. That's also cool. You know, I haven't touched on those, but nice. But the thing is that I'm having here is stupid stuff as usual. Ah, okay. This is my settings. This is me being stupid. Just pushing groups usage again. I want to make it clear to everyone. Patrick is referring to groups that I haven't still used. That will be the last thing I do after this modulation pass. And then, because it's you think it's comprehensive what I've done. It's nothing. But Patrick is pushing groups usage again, right? Because groups are something that really sets Bitwig Studio even more apart from the other DAWs. You see what I've done with all drums, all beats, all orc, all pulver 2, pulverizer, pulver, all effects, all synths, mix A, mix B. That's me not knowing how this thing works, because instead of doing a bass track for all beats, I could take the brown tracks and group them right off the bat, which with the help of Patrick, I'll do in a second, because when I've done it, I think I didn't do it right, so it wouldn't work. So let's do these pass, the Prophet 6 pass, and then we just do it. All right. We got it. It doesn't need to go that far, but it's good to know. So see what I have here? I've tracked, let me find where the controller is. These are two controllers. So one is not pressure, modulation. It's these two. So 103 could be resonance. This could be the filter, probably, I don't know. And yes, Patrick, yeah. Okay, select all drum group. I will do it in a second. Yeah, absolutely. So what I need here is, I need to erase this. And let me see here how it works. See here, it's cut down. We do this, right? But also this we can do, right? Here. We can take this, drop it a little bit, and maybe go down here. Whoa, look at that. That's my first time doing this group edit. All right, now I want to see the second parameter right off the bat. And I want to see these on 103, right? See this one? I think this is weird. This shouldn't have happened, right? So I do this and actually take maybe these two, erase it, maybe put a value here. I usually do that. I don't like it when it's like super obvious. See, this starts here. Boom, we got a pass, right? I might wanna, some people I know like to do this. They like to do it because they want things to start right off the bat here. It's okay because it's quantized, and then they want to keep it at 0. See what it did at the end? It just dropped it here, right? Here. Control. See what it did? This is a nice thing. It's no minor thing that the automation drops back down, because with interacting clips and with grooving, copy pasting loops, you know, it's a good thing to have, because sometimes you tend to flatten them and copy them. Okay, so we do the groups. Patrick says, select all your drum tracks in the arranger windows and press Ctrl G. It will create a group and a bus containing the selected tracks. Okay, so let's loop the drums. Drums are this thing. Okay, let's go here. For example, that's a great thing, because I like them, but they could be a little bit, maybe more wet. Okay, so I select them all, right click, and go group them. Control group, Control G, boom. And now it has a group. I will go Control R, rename, and I call it, usually I do 3 dashes. I'll do 1 just because it's almost, you know, it's 10:30. And I'll call it beats, whatever. I usually have beats, drums, grooves. So these are actually drums. No, sorry, there are beats and grooves. The redrum mono and the Kong would actually be grooves to me, and these would be beats. And this is because I also have sidechain stuff that goes differently. So all right, so beats. Now, if I press play, it works, but it goes to master now. That's my question to Patrick. Should it go to master? No, right? It doesn't have to go to master. It needs to go to mix A, right? That's my first mix bus. Although some things we're going to pulver and other things we're going to... No, okay. Okay. So my question is, does beats have, what if I send it to no output? Oh, okay. Okay. it still works. So, is it just a folder? Or, because you see, these are going, reassign the bus if needed. Now you have an extra icon just above the just created group. Yes. Right here. Man, Patrick, thank you. Thank you so much. Come back to the Patreon. We no, I can't mess with your money. I can sure mess with mine. Anyway, Project Beats. Okay. So now I have this group. So for example, the bass line and bass station could be basses. They actually are not. They're playing stuff. So, but suppose that they do have bass content, right? The bass line would have it. I can go group and rename and go bass. And the bass line is now here. Obviously, if I solo this, okay, I solo the whole thing. Oh no, okay, so interesting. So the folder has a life of its own. Wave, alchemy, group, syndrome. Ooh, I see what that is. I probably can route a track to the group or not. Maybe not. Okay, Beats Master maybe. Beats Master. Maybe? But you see, these are beats and these would be groove. These would be, so I don't have grooves. So this is good. Beats. Kong Cyber is drums. No, skip it out here. And redrum is not beats, is grooves. So we do this, group, and rename grooves, right? So we do, so this doesn't need to be master. So I saw, okay. So right now, this is just a folder, right? But it doesn't have anything to do with okay. I'm new here. What if I put a black hole on the whole thing? Or actually, what if I put I had it. What if I put a sonic EQ? You know this? This just came out. It's good. Low shelf. If I put it on the beats, will it affect everything? We'll find out soon. No. Okay, so I've put it here on beats, but it's not affecting all of these, which is okay by me. But can I use the beats folder as a bus? Maybe yes. For example, I take these and I give it the output beats master. And actually I do it for all. Can I do it for all of them? No. Okay, let's do it here. Let's try this. Now I don't hear it because I'm routing to beats master, but beats master has no output. So now I give it mix A. Fantastic. It works. And now it's inheriting this, the sonic EQ. So number one thing, thank you, Patrick, for pointing these out because it's fantastic. Also, it proves what I felt but wasn't sure, but I'm happy that it is. The folders also act as a bus for all of the in-between things, if you want to use it that way. Default, all the tracks in the group are assigned to the group bus. If there is a nested group, it will use the group bus above. Amazing. You can nest groups within groups. Okay, so I'm sending all of these P12 kicks no longer to all drums, but I'm sending them to beats master. Beats master. And I can do that by doing this. It's even faster. Beats master. And also I can check if I've made mistakes. So before I was using these as a normal Pro Tools session. So a track goes to a group. See this group here? All beats, right? It has a KHS stereo, Reason, rack. What is this? Pultex? No, it's got tube. Okay, so this thing I can select, I could copy and move here. Boom. Isn't this an amazing DAW? I just took what Old Beats had, copied to Beats the folder, which in this DAW is also a bus, which saves me having a bus to check. Patrick is saying, that's exactly what I meant to tell you from the beginning. I know. So now if I put this EQ here, right. So it has inherited what I was doing, and I'm now doing some gentle shaping of whatever. I'll do this. Okay, I like this. So now beats is beats, but now grooves had drums, which only has a tool, which is a -6. I could lower the fader here, but I don't want to do that. I will send these to Mix A and go grooves and take it from all drums, because that was what it was. Put it to the grooves, and I have my -6. Perfect. Now the other thing I need to do is this tool goes first. Boom, dragged it. Then I have the stereo, then the Reason rack, and then the Sonic EQ. Awesome. This means by lowering the bus, it's also lower the FX channels within the groups. Yes. Awesome. It should, right? Yes, because and this is the effects. Probably somebody's in pre-fader and we can hear it. Okay, awesome. Grooves, same drill. This needs to go to grooves chord. Have you noticed you can send a track to another track? I mean, we said that, right? But it's awesome. Grooves master. Okay. This isn't playing, okay? No. That's not how I wrote it, but are these inheriting the effects? Yes, right? Yes. Of course. I'm just checking that I have the effects here. I don't think I do have the... Oh, hold on. I do. Okay, so it's just not how the song then developed. It's very dry. It needs to be a lot more effective, and the other sounds need to go. But for example, Prophet 12, this would be all synths, so I could drop all the synths down here. The other bass line that is here, let me see. Well, this could go to bass master, and I'm sending this even if it's not in the group, and now it is. Man, this just, it makes it super easy. Now, because I've done it the other way around, if I let me save on something else groups test, because obviously the routing changes, and I may probably, do I had an old bass here? No, just old synths, right? But old synths had this, so it was inheriting different things. See, so okay, these works I will not, I will go back to the other path, but it's my bad because I've used these old drums, old beats, old orchestra, pulver effects, mix A and mix B. If I understood Patrick correctly, I could have mix A be the folder of all the beats, grooves, bass folders, and I could have mix B be the folder of mix A. And so these would actually be nested together without having different tracks. And Patrick says, there are native options to wire the audio or MIDI from any device within a chain to somewhere else. Audio receiver, note receiver. Awesome. Ooh, wow. Okay. So as we said, things can really go one into the other, and it's pretty cool. So obviously nothing really works if I'm moving these things recklessly, because for example, brass bram goes to all orchestra, and the orchestra has a massive passive, okay? And if I move these to a folder, even if the brass is just one channel, this one, it's just a bram very far. If it does that, I will need to copy that to the folder, obviously, because that will go. But eventually it makes a lot more sense because folders used to be cosmetic, right? And they were insanely cool. They had solo, mute, record. That's nice. Maybe group automation, but they couldn't have plugins on top. And now they do, and you don't need to route it to another bus, to another thing. You can just go all drums, and you have a folder, which is also a bus, which also has inputs for it. You can have a folder that has nothing in it. You can have a folder that does, and it's used just as a folder, or as a folder and a bus. You can probably, yeah, I mean, it's insane how versatile that is, but also how it's options, but they're not clashing against each other. I don't know. Am I being like overly excited for it? I gotta be honest with you. If there was an award towards DAWs, honestly, Bitwig Studio wins best DAW so far for now. I understand if you're doing mastering and you probably need perks, you can go Wavelab, you can go Samplitude, you can go whatever, Sonic Studio. Probably not a lot of people use it any longer, but let's say you use either Wavelab or Samplitude. I use Wavelab. That's okay. If you have immersive audio, ambisonics and stuff, I would go Nuendo, and I'm doing it that way, right? If you use that new icon, you can quickly navigate to any group. Yeah, look at that. Boom. Ooh, and it just subgroups the heck out of it, so you're not even seeing the whole thing. Nice. So this could even be soloed different sort of sub songs or sub. I mean, this for gaming cues, this is insane, because this could be the percussion cue. The other one could be the strings cue. The other one could be the voices cue. For example, it happened to me maybe it's a couple years ago, that I wrote a song and I sent the stems out, and the voices were in the orchestra. And the developer said, like, could you send me a version in which the voices are on a separate cue, because I am not sure if I want to use them, because if there's dialogue, like, you're playing the game and there's a character that's telling you something, the voices far away or something, they will be clashing with the storyline, with something in the action that was happening. So you can do, I usually now, I've learned that, and I do old vocals and old voices. I have 2 buses for it in my Nuendo template. So, and you see the master here below, it's Beats Master. So I have to I will have to redo my template. I don't even have a template so far, but I seriously need to drop, Patrick is right, drop these audio tracks used as buses as soon as possible and just go folders, groups, whatever you want to call them, and use the group to have the processing for the bus. And just keep mix A and mix B. And that's it. Right. Patrick says, I use these to create looped stems so the game engine can mix the sound based on the game situation. Exactly. That's exactly. I call them cues. Some people call them cues, some people call them stems. I call them stems when it's a rock band or it's a band. The drum stem, the percussion stem, the vocal stems. For games and movies, I use cues because I remember working with a guy that used to say cues, and I was like, what do you mean by cues? Like ideas? No, it's like the stems. It's like, okay. Joel, you said, after purchasing Bitwig Studio, I then have to pay a yearly fee. No, I think it's you pay for you buy the license. I don't know. Patrick, help me out on this one. I think you buy a 1 year. You buy the license and you have a 1 year. You pay for the license and for 1 year included of upgrades. If you don't buy the license if you don't renew it, you can't update, but you still have that version. If I'm correct, Patrick, I'll say you pay for the updates. Yes, I think what you pay is a 1 year thing, and in that year you have a license, and you have the updates as well. I haven't checked the thing, but I remember that you have the included 1 year of updates, after which you will not be able to update any longer. But because you had the license, you purchased it, so you cannot update as farthest away from the version that happens to be actual when your subscription expires, which is not the subscription, when your eligibility for free updates expires. For example, I have it until May 14, 2025. I think on May 16, I can still use Bitwig Studio, but if a new version comes out, I can't update. That's, I think I understood. Please don't quote me on that, because I hate to say stuff for companies and then they go like, no, stop, it's completely wrong. So yeah. Oh, and very important, Patrick says that it's 50% off now, but you can buy multiple years of updates right now while the offer is on. So for example, you could be saying, I'm gonna pay full price, but this gives me 2 years of updates. All right. It is, I don't know how the licenses are right now, but I think it's as expensive as Ableton Live. I hate to do these comparisons, but honestly, people want to know. Like, there's like, and again, this is not, endorsed by Bitwig Studio. It's just like, it's there. So is it as expensive as Ableton, or is Live, or I know Nuendo is probably more expensive. And I think after the 50% or something is gone, we will still be able to get educational discounts through me, if you're a patron or you're a student of mine. I have two types of people involved with me. People who are not in the Patreon, just studying with me regularly, or patrons. But as long as you're in tier B or above, you get educational discounts. But it's kind of nice that you can get maybe more than 1 year. Most companies, they say, well, you buy the license, but when a new version comes out, you need to update and pay. So if DAW version 4 is now available and you buy it, you have a perpetual license, but if version 5 comes out, you need to pay for version 5, the update. So I think instead they're giving you the full 1 year, whatever happens, Again, do not quote me on it. Patrick says, you buy the license and then you get 1 year of updates. I did not update for 2 years, and within version 5.2, I jumped in again, and I have access to every version for 1 year. Ah, okay. So it's what I've said. We have proof you did that. You can keep using it for 1 year at the version you have. Which honestly, I know Bitwig won't hate me for it. Can I be super honest? You might be having a gig that for a solid 6 months will make you very afraid to update anything. So you don't necessarily need to like buy it every year. You could probably buy it every 18 months for 1 year. And so you're saving a year every 2. Does it make sense? So in terms like the DAW is, you know, and you pay if you're updating that version, which probably in 1 year and a half, they will have come out with a milestone that any other company would have made you pay for anyway. You know, I don't want to defend what they're doing, just, you know, but I'm saying in 1 year time, every company will have dropped a milestone and will ask you for an update price. So you will end up paying, suppose I'm using Ableton Live, right? And it's got version whatever, 7, 12, 12, right? In a year and a half, version 13 will come out. And it will be a paid update. Not full, because you already own Ableton Live 12, but 13 will cost you something anyway. So, you know, here you're paying for a year of updates regardless, but then in the way like next year, probably, if it was another DAW, you would have paid for the update version. So I know for sure that I haven't updated my DAWs for a good 6 months, for sure, because if I'm into a project, I'm very happy to test stuff, but in the DAW I'm writing music with, unless it's a very, you know, unless somebody else tells me in the team, I've done it, update, then at that point I won't update because it's better, because it's on the same version the other guys have. You know, even video editors, they do that, you know, if they're on a bundle, everybody needs to, because even other, some, you know, it's messed up. But in my case, it doesn't quite make sense. So will version 5.2 support macOS 10, 14.6? These I don't know because I'm a Windows guy. But so you keep the license plus all the updates you paid for, but the real power of Bitwig is not the effects and grid. Those new modules are usually very helpful. Is the note and effects grid. Those new modules are usually very helpful. Bitwig is like a modular synth. I remember you, Patrick, say that when you were in Patreon, and we were talking about that all of the note effects and stuff are not helpers, or Logic has a lot of those helpers, right? For example, I want to limit my MIDI velocity. Okay, that's cool. But Bitwig, even Ableton has that. Like as a creative DAW, you want to make it, a lot of people are working with mouse and keyboard. You want to be able to design something that just is destroying things around. I think my DZ bus pretty much does that. It takes events and it just drops them around a granulizer. So it's not a synth, it's a straight ahead send return bus. But you can do that with note effects grids, yes. Plus, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick, but I think that these presets can be shared in a sort of cloud of users. I don't remember that, but could be that, you know. So it could be. I read that you can do that actually, that some of the effects are shared, things like that. So select an arrangement to edit the notes of keep it. All right. So I mean, this is. I was just looking at the notes. If you don't need the info and arrange, you can take everything out. If you need them, oh, sorry, this was huge. If you need the mixer within your arrange, then you have it, you know. If you need automation lanes for a clip, you have it. I can take a look at hardware instruments on off, tube compressor on off. For example, here, see, I have better automation display. I can see better what I've done. I haven't touched these. The detail editor, these we did. That's the first one I had, right? But if I want different stuff, I can go automation editor here, advanced automation, device panel, and mixer. Okay. Good thing that I saw. There's tiny little things that are so good. This one, for example, if you're mixing a song, this is great. You know, you don't need to tab to go somewhere else. Yeah. And it allows you to create your own synth effects. All things are shared in Bitwig. Yeah. You mean I'm sharing my own stuff? No, then I need to use something else. Because then people can pretend, you know. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I really like the interface, how it is, the darkness of it. It's not too bright to my eyes and stuff. It's really, really cool. So, yeah. I think we'll close it here, people. Thank you very much for being here. I will go to dinner 8:59. So this is good. Like sharp at 9 p.m. I remind you that at this time, if you're in Berlin, you should go to Super Booth and just enjoy it. But there's also Bitwig is there. Lucy Vogel is there. The other folks are there. And you can drop, say hi, get stickers, put them on your RC cars. And when you go to meetups and you're playing and crawling and racing and bashing, people go like, what's that sticker? And you go like, because I'm a composer. And people just will flee out because they're afraid that you will tell them how cool Bitwig Studio is. Isn't it that amazing? Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you, Bitwig's amazing support for having helped me out in the last 3 days. And thank you, people, for being here. Patrick, thank you for joining in. You were super welcome. On top of that, you also had amazing knowledge of these, and you kind of supervised me. Like in all of the... I didn't do many mistakes, but I kind of did use Bitwig as you would Pro Tools, probably. Which you can. I proved that. But, you know, groups and other things are absolutely fantastic, for sure. So, awesome. You know, we can delete scenes, we can do other stuff. I can be here all day and still find out things. This was day 3 of my life on Bitwig. We crashed and it recovered. So, I mean, we even sent a letter to them. Fantastic. So, people, I have nothing else to say. See you on Discord. Please check out my Patreon. Check out the music I've done, the remasters also. But mostly if you want to learn more about these and you want to be in the group of creative workshops that we're doing, please make sure you check the Patreon, because I'm also going to use Bitwig from now on to just compose stuff. You know, get ideas. Probably I won't talk that much. And then if you're on chat, we will just enjoy some discussion, ideas and things. But it will be kind of write a song in 2 hours-ish, okay? It might happen on Mondays or maybe Thursday, I don't know. But it will be a weekly thing that I will do for sure, because I have to write music for September. So I will join forces with everything, try and make it useful. Check out my stuff. Ethan has been bothering you with links from when we started. So this was amazing, people. I'll go to dinner. Very, very happy. I hope you found this useful. To me, this was a revelation. Like, we needed a DAW like this. This is like the DAW we needed and deserved. All right, that's the end of it. Thank you very much, people. Have a nice end of the day. See you on Friday, all right? And see you on Discord for the patrons in you. Ciao.